Welcome back to the Malaysian Money Matters Show. It's July 30th, 2025.
Great to be here.
Today we're doing another deep dive, looking at the latest market and economic news, both here in Malaysia and, well, globally too.
That's right. We'll try to unpack what it all means, the key impacts for you.
Okay, let's jump right in with Malaysian company news. Some interesting Q2 earnings came out.
Definitely a mixed bag.
First, BAT Malaysia. Their profit surged, didn't it? Something like 40%?
Yeah, up to RM 50.95 million. But the interesting part is how. It wasn't really sales driven.
Oh, so what was it?
Cost reductions. Seems they cut back quite aggressively after pulling out of their Vuse vape line.
Ah, okay. And that ties into the government potentially banning open system vapes too, right?
Exactly. It shows a strategic shift, maybe focusing more on profitability in a tough regulatory environment. They still declared a 12-cent dividend, mind you.
Right. Okay, on the other side, Teck Plantations had a fantastic quarter.
Record Q3, actually.
Yeah.
Net profit hit RM 34.66 million. That's up, what, 52.8%?
Wow, so that's higher sales volume and better palm product prices.
Looks like it. Shows the strength in commodities right now. And they gave a huge dividend, 36 cents.
But sustainability is the question there. Can those prices hold?
Always the million-dollar question with commodities.
Then you've got companies like DXN Holdings. Their Q1 profit actually fell.
Yeah, down 13.6% to RM 73.91 million. They're pointing fingers mainly at foreign exchange losses.
The stronger ringgit biting them?
Seems so. That's a theme we saw elsewhere, too, like with Dufu Technology Corp.
Dufu's Q2 profit dropped sharply, like 66.8%.
Yeah, down to RM 2.8 deal million. They mentioned higher costs and, again, those Forex losses, even though demand for their hard disk drive parts was actually up.
So rising demand, but still squeezed by costs and currency. And they're worried about U.S. tariffs, too.
They flagged that, yes. Global trade uncertainty is a definite headwind.
It seems to be hitting widely. Even Bursa Malaysia itself saw a dip.
That's right. Q2 net profit down about 29% to RM 57.06 million. Mainly slower trading activity on the securities market. They did declare a 14-cent dividend for the first half, though.
Okay, let's shift to strategic moves. Big news with Felda and FGV Holdings.
Yes, the privatization is finally done. Felda crossed that 90% shareholding threshold.
At RM 1.30 a share. So FGV is off the market after 13 years.
Trading suspended from August 15th. End of an era for FGV as a listed entity.
Meanwhile, Paramount Corp is diversifying.
Into food and beverage, interestingly. Planning to buy a 28% stake in Invictus International.
That's the Texas chicken and San Francisco coffee operator, right? For about RM 126 million.
Correct. A cash deal. It's a clear diversification strategy.
And Bank Islam had a successful sukuk issuance.
Very successful. A 1 billion ringgit senior sukuk murabaha. Got a huge response from investors.
High bid-to-cover ratio.
Extremely high. Shows strong confidence in Bank Islam and Malaysia's Islamic finance sector generally.
Also, a new listing, Oxford Innotech, debuted strongly on the ACE market.
Yeah, surged on debut, raised RM 56.1 million. That money's mostly for expanding their Penang factory space, doubling it by 2027.
Okay, let's talk infrastructure, tech, and ESG. Johor seems to be booming with data centers.
Absolutely. 42 new projects approved just in the second quarter. They're really positioning themselves as a digital investment hub, aiming for Tier 4 tech.
That's top-tier reliability, good for attracting investment.
Definitely. And speaking of tech growth, Kellington Group looks well-placed for the semiconductor upcycle.
They have a big tender book, right, including overseas, like Germany.
RM 2.5 billion in Germany, yeah. Plus, they're looking into carbon capture and storage with Petronas, a strategic ESG move.
Infrastructure in Penang, too. The LRT Mutiara Line bridge portion is going to tender soon.
Targeting October for an open tender. The design's meant to be flexible for the port's future needs.
And Penang's also planning floating solar projects.
Yes, especially on dams. Trying to hit that 10% renewable energy target by 2030. Crucial for places like Silicon Island. Important stuff. But security is also key. Bursa Malaysia is bringing in new cybersecurity rules.
By October. Including mandatory multi-factor authentication. This follows that unauthorized trading incident back in April, tightening things up across the board.
And on the enforcement side, those raids on e-waste companies.
Big news. MAC-led raids uncovering alleged tax evasion, something like RM 950 million over 6 years.
Huge number. Highlight some serious issues in that industry.
Absolutely. Regulation and oversight are critical there.
Talking regulation, Malaysia's planning a carbon tax next year.
That's the plan. Could bring in nearly 1 billion ringgit annually, initially targeting high emitters. It ties in with the EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism, too.
Right, the CBAM, pushing industries to decarbonize to stay competitive globally.
Precisely.
On a slightly brighter note for consumers, electricity rebates are coming.
Yes. For most in peninsular Malaysia, 1.45 cents per kilowatt rebate in August, likely bigger ones later in the year thanks to lower fuel costs.
Good news there. And finally, Malaysia's taking a lead on AI governance in ASEAN. Yes, establishing the Asian AI Safety Network, aiming for shared standards on safety, ethics. It's a big area. Attracted RM 163 billion in digital investments last year, apparently.
Okay, let's quickly look internationally. U.S.-China trade talks are back on.
Resumed in Stockholm, trying to ease those tariff tensions and disputes.
Against a backdrop of worsening U.S. credit conditions.
Yeah, company defaults are up over there, partly linked to all this trade uncertainty. So these talks are pretty important for the global economy.
Japan, meanwhile, got a good deal with the U.S. on chips and pharma tariffs.
Seems so. Secure the lowest rates compared to other U.S. deals, a negotiating win for them.
But Asian currencies felt the pressure, didn't they? Thai baht, Taiwan dollar.
They led declines, yeah. Jitters ahead of that U.S. tariff deadline really highlight the ongoing uncertainty.
What about commodities? Gold.
Fidelity's putting out a bold forecast, U.S. $4,000 an ounce by end of next year.
Wow. Driven by potential Fed rate cuts and central bank buying.
That's the thinking. Weaker dollar, safe haven appeal. Oil prices, meanwhile, held fairly steady around U.S. $70.
After Trump's comments on Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, raised some concerns about potential supply issues down the line if things don't settle.
Okay, couple more international points. The ECB and climate.
Introducing a climate factor in their lending from late 2026, basically pushing banks towards greener financing.
Using lending as a lever for climate action. Interesting. And finally, Microsoft and OpenAI.
They're in advanced talks about Microsoft's ongoing access to OpenAI's tech, even beyond AGI. It's complex, with all the restructuring and regulatory focus on AI.
A lot going on there.
Definitely.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Lots of moving parts, from local corporate shifts to global economic pressures.
It really underscores how interconnected everything is. Currency moves, trade talks, tech developments, they all ripple through.
Absolutely. The key question for you is always, how do these currents affect your strategy? How do you adapt?
Food for thought.
Indeed. We really encourage you to subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast for more insights like these. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.